Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're unpacking something you've probably seen 1,000 times. You might literally have one in your pocket right now. We're talking about the small, refillable pocket lighter. And as you're going to see, this little device is an absolute marvel of physics and engineering.
Because think about it. What if I told you that you're carrying around a device designed to harness a controlled explosion? Crazy, right? And it doesn't just work in perfect laboratory conditions. It's engineered to work flawlessly in wind, rain, and even extreme cold. It's so easy to take for granted, but we're going to break down exactly how this tiny gadget actually manages to tame fire so incredibly well.
Section 1. Built to last. Let's start off by contrasting this incredibly durable tool with the flimsy, disposable lighters we see sitting at checkout counters literally every single day.
Unlike those cheap plastic ones, refillables represent a completely different mindset. Instead of just tossing them away the second they run out of fuel, you maintain them. And that one simple shift, it changes everything. It leads to way less waste, for sure, but it also guarantees much better performance. Plus, over time, you build a genuine personal attachment to it. You know, some people carry the exact same lighter for years, sometimes even decades. It becomes this reliable companion rather than just another piece of trash in waiting.
Moving right along to Section 2, the science of ignition, how these things actually work.
Let's zoom in to the microscopic level. You've got two main types of lighters here, flint-based and butane. Now, while both fundamentally rely on ignition, the way they actually create that flame is totally different. Flint-based lighters use a little wheel to create friction, and their fuel is usually a liquid lighter fluid, something like naphtha. These are legendary for their rugged reliability. They'll work in incredibly tough conditions. On the flip side, you have butane lighters. These use pressurized gas. They offer a much cleaner burn, way less smell, and they usually feature an adjustable flame. Actually, in some modern models, you even get those super powerful jet flames.
So what's really fascinating here is the rapid sequence of ignition in a flint lighter. It looks like magic, but it's not. It is pure friction and chemistry happening in an absolute instant. Let's walk through the story of a spark. Step 1, you strike the wheel. Step 2, that rough wheel physically scrapes these tiny microscopic particles right off the flint. Step 3, because of the intense heat from all that friction, those tiny scraped particles ignite instantly. And finally, step 4, that brilliant spark catches the fuel vapor that's just hovering nearby, and boom, you get your flame. All of this, the whole shebang, happens in the literal blink of an eye. Now here's a lesser-known fact that almost always surprises people. That quote-unquote flint you're scraping, yeah, it isn't actually a stone at all. It's a man-made alloy called ferrocerium. We just call it flint out of habit. It's actually a highly engineered material specifically designed to produce just incredibly hot sparks through friction alone. And when I say incredibly hot, I seriously mean it. Striking that wheel produces a spark at temperatures jumping above 3,000 degrees Celsius. Just to put that into perspective for a second, that is literally hotter than many heavy industrial manufacturing processes. And it's happening right there, sandwiched right between your thumb and a tiny metal wheel. Wild, right? Okay, moving to Section 3, defeating the elements.
So we know the spark is extremely hot, but how does the resulting flame survive the harsh outside world? Well, it all comes down to brilliant engineering tailored specifically for harsh environments. These lighters use these clever chimney-like metal shields that protect the core of the flame. Plus, they're designed with these super precise holes for controlled airflow, basically feeding the fire oxygen without blowing it out. Add in a steady fuel evaporation rate, and because of this whole clever design, these lighters can stay lit in strong, punishing winds. Winds where a normal wooden match would instantly die. It's exactly why these devices became massively popular with soldiers in the trenches and, outdoor enthusiasts out in the wilderness.
Section 4, the maintenance ritual.
But to keep that powerful flame alive, there is a human element involved here. Maintaining your lighter requires a specific, almost meditative ritual of care. And frankly, it's something a lot of modern users just aren't used to anymore. First, you've got to replace the flint when it wears down. Then, you have to carefully refill the fuel. And finally, trimming or adjusting the wick so the fuel evaporates at just the right rate. It's this active participation that actually ensures the lighter works flawlessly, year after year.
Because, well, if you ignore that ritual, the results are pretty immediate. Neglect leads to weak sparks, uneven burns, or just complete mechanical failure. So, the absolute crucial takeaway here is this. A well-maintained refillable lighter will always, and I mean always, outperform a brand new, cheap disposable one. When you care for it, it rewards you. It generates stronger sparks and much more consistent flames. You can light campfires, candles, gas stoves, all in harsh environments where a disposable lighter would just completely give up.
This brings us to Section 5, the environmental trade-off.
I think this perfectly illustrates the big picture trade-off we face today. It's really throwaway culture versus responsibility. Looking at disposable lighters, they're used up, thrown away, and they create just an immense amount of plastic waste. They are single-use by nature, even if they're convenient because they require zero maintenance. But then look at refillables. They massively reduce plastic waste, use replaceable components, and they last significantly longer. But, and here's the key trade-off, they demand responsibility. You have to handle the fuel carefully. If you refill it improperly, you can cause leaks. So while they're vastly more sustainable, they absolutely require an owner who's willing to put in a little bit of effort.
Section 6, a pocket-sized legacy. And you know what? That required responsibility actually transforms this simple fire starter into something way more meaningful. Because these things are meticulously built to survive wars, howling winds, and just the general test of time, they've birthed this massive collector's world. It isn't just about starting a fire anymore. Certain models get engraved with these beautiful, intricate designs. They get passed down through generations as cherished family heirlooms. Rare ones, they're auctioned off at astonishingly high prices. A few brands have built such a pristine reputation for lifetime usability that they've literally turned a basic utility tool into a highly sought-after legacy item.
So a refillable pocket lighter isn't just a tool, it's a masterclass in physics, a total marvel of engineering, and a symbol of true durability. In a modern world that is just overflowing with disposable everything, it represents a really rare philosophy. It's a device genuinely designed to last. So the very next time you hold one of these and strike that wheel, remember, you're not just lighting a flame, you're activating decades of innovation in a single spark, which kind of begs the question, doesn't it? In a modern world engineered for the landfill, what else in our daily lives should we be rebuilding to last a lifetime? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep staying curious.